do believe we are live. So I'll say, indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. Thank you for joining me again, sharing another moment of your time, for accepting me and the stream as it is. As it is. You friends have shown me love in ways that I could have never imagined. And I keep appreciating it. I was like thinking about this today as I was meditating, how every single one of you friends, every single name I get to read, Duck Dad, Sam, Shan, right? Every single one of you is like a node for love is true. So even if I can't see your name, right, it doesn't reduce anything, but seeing your name adds to that truth, to that narrative that I'm trying to perfect in my brain. And I appreciate you, friends, for being so consistently beautiful. Love you. Duck Dad, it's nice having you. Hey, it's Taco Tuesday. Don't start with food, please. Don't start with food. I'm on day 3 of a fast right now. And today is the hard day, I believe. Yesterday was pretty hard, but I feel usually day 3 is like one of the harder ones for me, and then it tapers off and becomes a little bit easier again. Let's see. A thing worth saying. Yeah, I think transformation is pretty relevant, because transformation is taking something for what it is and turning it into something else, right? And that's today's stream topic, at least derivative of that. We need to learn how to accept what is. Joy, it's nice seeing you. We need to learn how to accept what is, right? Not from a place of defeat, not from a place of surrender, but from a place of practicality, where once we accept what is, then we can start the process of transforming what is, right? And then the thing we're saying for today goes, the way of transformation is the way of the way of transformation is the way of assuming responsibility for time. For time is not a prison for you. It is that which flows out of your very consciousness. And there is never a place or a time which is more conducive to the way of transformation than the place in which you are and the time that is now. The time that is now. In other words, if you're going to transform, if there is ever going to be a moment in your life in which you transcend, in which you transform, in which you become enlightened, that moment, that time is going to be now. The place in which you are and the time that is now. So thank you, friends, for accepting this, for accepting it as it is. I accept nothing. It's my superpower. I mean, you have to accept the nothing as well, right? Keeps going in all directions. If you don't accept it, you feel stuck in it. Realize that it's freeing to accept the nothing as well. When are you streaming again, Doug? I want to see the plant babies. Did he stream yesterday? Did he stream yesterday? I don't know, actually. Now, I was informed your remedy was collected by the courier this morning. Sick. Probably going to be here tomorrow then. I reject your reality and substitute my own. Yes, yes, do it. Do it. Right? Because you are the hero. You are the hero of your story. You are the central theme. You are the main character of your story arc, of your movie, right? And it's not to try and uplift ourselves above anyone else, because every single person in our lives is in that same role, that role of God, that role of the observer, that role of pure source experiencing itself as pure source experiencing it, right? And then from that perspective, realize that sometimes people might have different agendas for your life than you do. One of my favorite quotes by, I don't know if it's by Alex Mamosi, or it might be a quote that he quoted by someone else. I think that might be the case. A quote he told me that someone else told him. And I'm saying this like I know him directly. No, just watching YouTube videos. But he mentioned never listen to someone who has smaller dreams for your life than you do. Maybe not listen to someone, maybe never take advice. I think that's the right word. Never take advice from someone who has smaller dreams for your life than you do. Right? Someone who is willing to accept something smaller, something less than worthy of your life than you would, don't listen to their advice. Please, please live your life. You need to. If we're going to talk about acceptance, we'll just write acceptance. Yeah, let's go acceptance. Yeah, okay. Acceptance. What a beautiful word. Mm. Hope I didn't misspell it. My writing is fine. Okay. We'll add some abundance. If we're gonna accept things, we'll accept abundance. We'll accept power. We'll accept gifts. We'll accept the feminine. We'll accept. Should we go for enlightenment? Transmuting. You know, actually, light triumphs over darkness. We'll accept that as a truth as well. Right? That it might feel like we're in dark times right now. But that only means that we will get to directly experience how light wins. Isn't that exciting? Second, let's see. Sam, I don't know. I want to, but it's been heavy here. Hard to focus. If I'm streaming, thank you for wanting to be with me, though. It is, it is a heavy mental load, isn't it, Duck Dad? It's like the way I think of it is like as soon as I open the stream space to other friends, your minds are now entangled with mine in this space, right? And now we're no longer just an individual organisming, right? Because as an individual organism, it's pretty easy to do busy work, huh, Doc Dad? Oh yes, I'm alone, and now me alone is gonna move 20 plants to this different room. And then the objective is pretty simple. But now as soon as you have a camera in the space, now you have to figure out how you can take the camera there as well. You have to wonder, am I gonna leave the camera in that space while I carry things, or am I put it in that space while I carry things? Am I gonna carry it with me while I only use one hand to carry things? Am I gonna try and give commentary to the people that are joining me? Are they gonna leave? No, no. So much mind stuff suddenly. I get it. I'd really admire your ability to get anything done while you're streaming. I wanted to stream yesterday, but business things got in the way. There we go. Only one duck to go around. It's true. It's true. Very true. Dan, yay! Dan is here too. Shell as well, sending you lovin's. She said, I hope everyone took the time to watch my new Bun Bun Garage Buddy in the Discord. I will protect it with my life. The bananas were gone, Shan. I'm guessing you got a bunny. And I'm sorry for misquoting Shell's message. The next one is Shell's message saying, accept occasional conflict in order to change momentum. Accept everything. Accept everything. Everything needs to be accepted because there's no not accepting something, right? Sure, there is not accepting something in the context of you not wanting it to be so. But for instance, let me share a little bit of my journey of acceptance today. Some of you friends might know my computer died literally the 1st of January. It was kind of comical because I didn't use it for the last like while, right, of last of year. I had friends over. I was over at friends' place. I was at family, so there wasn't time for me to do computer things. And I remember so strictly telling myself I'm gonna learn how to use Unreal Engine 5, and I'm gonna magnanimous anime, story, idealization, and then my friends they leave and I sit down at my PC to turn it on for the first time in the year 2023, and it's dead. It's just straight up dead. Like dead, dead. Like it gives me the 00, which means nothing's working. That's what the message means. Like nothing's working, and I'm like, ah, okay. And I take out my components and I reseat them, and I try to flash the BIOS and yada 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 yada. Eventually, bite the bullet, take out all of my components. Unseating my CPU felt wrong. It felt like I was taking the heart out of something, but I did it. I sent the motherboard in. The people that sold it to me confirmed it was in fact broken. They told me they'll give me credit, store credit, so that I can buy a new one so I can fix my computer. And I'm like, ah, sick. Good, that sounds great. I can accept that. And then I go and buy myself this replacement part, and there are none. And I'm like, huh. And I call them, and I reach Christu, his name is. And I'm like, hey, Christu, seems I have credit, but there are no products for me to buy, for me to fix my computer with. And he's like, yes, seems that way. I'll find out for you. I'll send you an email as soon as I find out, he says to me. Then as soon as turns into a week, as soon as turns into 2 weeks. And today, as I'm journaling, I'm feeling a certain way. I'm like, my name is Kenny. And I'm like, I call this dude up. I'm like, bruh, I still haven't received your email. You know anything about this motherboard situation? And he's like, oh yeah, it turns out the motherboard you need for your computer is no longer being manufactured. It has been discontinued. I'm like, oh, of course. My 2-year-old computer now lacks a critical component, the actual bed with which all of my components sleep on and then awaken from, right? And I'm like, yeah, of course this is happening. Of course, this is something I have to now accept. And he tells me, okay, since we don't have the part, we can financially refund you. You just need to send us all of your details. So I do that. I haven't received the cash yet, but at least that's something. Now we have to figure out another place to get it. And I was like at a space where I was like, I don't know what part of it I'm supposed to accept. Am I supposed to accept that this part is no longer available and then try and sell the rest of them? Because it murders my soul to see computer components not working, right? I imagine, for instance, at this point in my life, I want to get myself a proper full frame camera, and they're expensive. They're like a full frame camera that can serve both as a video camera and a good photography camera is like $3,000. $3,000 is a lot to pay for anything. Never mind a piece of equipment, and yet I know for a fact that somewhere in the world there are cameras just laying on a shelf, staring into the void, not being used. And that triggers me. And now seeing my computer components laying on a shelf, not doing anything, I trigger myself. I'm like, you need stop not working computer parts. And yeah, I've been trying to learn more acceptance. Breathing. Finding some calm in myself, knowing that it's not the end of the world. I was writing about that in my journal as well. I'm like, yeah, bro, you could either make a whole scene out of this in your mind about how upset you are. And I write, I'm like, I'm sad and disappointed that this computer I invested in only lasted 2 years. And now I cannot even fix it. I was like, oh, it's a little bit, still minorly triggered. And then alongside the trigger, I write, so what's more likely to happen? Your computer parts are never going to break again, or you are going to learn how to deal with it. All right, you're going to learn how to accept even the breaking of your computer parts. And that doesn't mean I accept the fact that they break, but I accept the fact that they're broken, right? So fine line there. Naren is here too, sending you lovins. I believe Joe Bot is here as well. So much love. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna write another intention down here before I start reading again. If the inside is acceptance, the outside should be calm. Calm acceptance. Did it cost you $3,000, Naren? I joined when you were talking about a full frame camera. I bought one in December. Yow! Skapow! I'm so freaking happy for Naren. Yeah, get that. Get that bokeh. Get that full frame sensor, full frame capture. So wide lens are compared to crop sensor lens. It's true. It's true, yeah. Like full frame is just more pixels, you know? You want more pixels? I'm a fiend for technology. My brother just sent me a photo of a monitor. As we're talking about computer parts, nice. Synchronicity. Calm. It's a bug on me. Calm. Calm acceptance. Calm acceptance even when we don't want to accept, especially then. I also added some valor to this little piece of paper, Shan, if you're wondering. Sam, I don't know. It's hard to focus. It's true. Hope everyone took acceptance. Cute little bun melted me completely. Yes, today was inventory day. If I tried to count and talk, it would be counting one all over again. Hey, Melt people. I'm lurking here while I work out this morning. Yeah, Dan is getting freaking jacked. Imagine that. Just like think about that. Somewhere in the world, there's a Dan man who, while I'm speaking into his world right now, he's like doing push-ups, doing kettlebell curls, swinging them around, pushing them above his head, getting so swolleth, so jacketh to the maxeth. I'm proud of you, Dan. Like I hope that that comes through clear. I know I'm being a little bit lighthearted with it, but I've been exercising a lot more these days as well, and it makes me feel capable, strong, powerful. Sending you all of those feelings as well. It's nice to have you here, even lurking. Poopsie the moopsie. I would like daily reports on baby bun duck. I bet this baby went nuts over the nanners. I can imagine. Goodness. Bro, that motherboard story is so familiar. Here is all the monies to buy what you need. By the way, we don't have what you need. Yeah, exactly. Exactly that, Duck Dad. And I was like, hello, darkness, my old friend. Learning acceptance. Learning acceptance. And maybe like a mild little bit of nihilism. That even if I fix my computer in a billion years, it's still going to be dust. So I'm like, yeah, actually, maybe it's not so bad. Is Zano here? Yeah, she is. Hey, Zano. It's nice having you, friends, and your lovins. What is full frame? So full frame is just a really big sensor. Right? It's a big sensor. Hey, Google, can you show me the difference between a cropped APS-C lens? Not lens. Let's try again. Hey, Google, can you show me the difference between an APS-C sensor and a full frame sensor? Are you for kidding me right now? So it's just giving me information, but there we go. Here is, are these photos not opening right now? Of course not. My suffering needs to continue. My acceptance needs to increase. So I guess I'll just bring it very close. You see that? That one all the way there is full frame, and these are the sensors we have in cameras these days. So it's just big boy sensors. Get all of that information captured. You get like really cool, you know, bokeh effects where the field of depth is really clear and like smooth. And more important than anything is you just get extremely high quality photos, like real high quality photos. Like take a photo of a person's full body and then zooms in to see their pores, kind of, you know, resolution. I don't know why, but something of that nature just makes my brain so happy. I like to capture things. I like to make things after all. I joined, as you were talking about, full frame camera. I bought one in December. Which brand did you get, actually? I'm curious. Shan, I'll do my best, but hopefully Bun Bun will keep hidden until he's a bit bigger. Not sure how old they are when they leave the nest for the first time, but that was him. So much love that it cost you $3,000. I had a $900 Toshiba Ultrabook fail in 2 years. They were like, so sorry, buy a new one. Yeah. I'm like, bro, I spent, in your case, $900 on this computer so that I don't have to buy a new one in 2 years. That's why I spent a little bit more, so that I don't have to keep buying new ones. Can you not, please? Please, please. Can my computer not have built-in obsolescence? That would be great. I really would like to not accept that. Full frame captures a wider lens is true as well. Thanks for explaining, Naren. Thank you. Indeed, they're quite small, but they go off on their own duck. Hopefully, he's got a good hiding place. I'm sure. The crab piles, perfect duck. I'm doing well, Lolo. Sending you love. Life is good. How are you? I'm doing well as well. How are you feeling, Lolo? Are you living into a place of acceptance these days? Are you expected to accept more things these days? Do let us know. All of you friends, like, do feel free to share. Yes, $5,500 with the lens, but it is in EMI. I will be paying for it the next 2.5 years to come. Yep, that does help at least, right? It helps to be able to afford a useful piece of technology without needing to have all of the capital to buy it outright. So I'm happy for you too, Naren. But yeah, that's what they cost. I'm probably gonna have to pay around the same price if I want, like 2 lenses with my camera as well. $5,500 for a piece of equipment. But I know it's just a matter of time. Gonna get all of the tools so I can make all of the things. I got a Sony A7 S3 plus a 35mm f 1.4 lens. Yeah, that's like the creme de la creme. 35mm lenses are really sexy, especially for taking portraits and stuff. Are you doing mostly video with it right now, Naren? I know that you do videos, so I'm guessing you're probably doing mostly video. I'm doing kettlebell lunges, dude. Gotta get them jack legs. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Legs are great to exercise, not only for the fact of getting them jacked, but because they're massive muscle groups, right? For instance, if I wanted to burn the same amount of energy doing like bicep curls, I would have to do 10 bicep curls to elicit the same amount of energy I would do with like one squat, for example. Right? Your legs are massive and they take a lot of energy to actuate. I'm living the dream, cuddled in bed with my kittens. That does sound so nice, actually. Dan is throwing around kettlebells with Mel's face on them for funsies. I don't know why, but that makes me happy. I'm just imagining. Oh goodness, this is like this. So Dan has these animal heads. So like, I believe his are like gorilla heads, gorilla and rhino. No, I'm spacing right now. But I'm just imagining, us eventually making melt dumbbells, and it's just my severed head as a dumbbell. And people get to whip around while they're watching the stream. And I'm like, I don't know if this is. I think this might be cursed. Might be a little bit cursed. Hello, expensive camera, Naren. They are, JV. It's not cheap being in the creative industry. It really isn't. And the sensors are only getting better, and the standard is only rising higher and higher. Part of me wants to have like the really good technology in a small form factor, but I don't want to wait 5 more years before I can get something really good. I'm going to show you friends what I'm looking at. Look at those sillies. I feel like they can notice you watching them right now. I do believe in stuff like that. I really do. There we go. The play is back. While I'm finishing up my joint, give you friends a little bit more entertainment. to be a doggo. They have so much fun. Okay, let's get back into stream. Joint is basically rolled. Acceptance and calm as our intentions for it. Let's see. The microgreens company from yesterday already created a new newsletter, sent out to their customers, and shared it on Facebook, including original AI art. Damn, dude, these people don't joke around. I'm happy that they're actually committing. Hi, hoef deze? Rustig voor mij alsjeblieft. Rustig voor mij alsjeblieft. Kom ons eens rustig. Nee, my woefters. Corey! Dude, Timothy is here too! Been missing you, dear friend. I don't know if you're the same Corey. I don't think you're Ninja Nanner. I haven't seen them in forever. But maybe to be a doggo would be wonderful. Life would be so different to see the world through their beautiful eyes. We get to, at the very least, learn from them, right? That's what I try to do at least, watching my little doggos. Just like, tranquility. Like, look at this dude. This is Yudi. He's so chill. What's up, gang? It's nice having you here, Timothy. We're smoking this joint today with the intention of acceptance. Accepting things as they are is the first step to actually changing them, right? There's no point in trying to change things if we haven't at least reached a level of acceptance. It's like a commitment to what is. I am Ninja Nanner. It is Ninja Nanner, Corey. It's nice having you. Double lovin's to you. It's nice seeing your name again, dear friend. You've been missed. Sending you love. Sending little fruit cup love too. Sending Eden love as well. Hope all of you are doing so well on that side. I plan to use it for a decade, and a sensor like that is supposed to last you that long. The way technology goes obsolete so fast, you really think you'll get a decade out of it, Naren? With that sensor, probably, JV, because those sensors, for instance, like the sensors we can buy right now for like $5,000 is like exponentially better than cinema grade sensors of like 20 years ago. And those cinema grade sensors of 20 years ago are still being used right now, type of vibes. I'm making ad films, corporate videos, weddings, and basically anything that involves documenting a story. Then I edit it. This is what I do to make money. And more money you will make. More people suddenly hear about Naren and his amazing filmmaking abilities, reaching out to him to get him to do work for him. Puppy is shenaniganizing in the background. Some energy going on here right now. The kettlebells are a howler monkey and a chimp. There we go. I have been making music videos for free for hip-hop artists here. This has been driving me. I direct, shoot, and edit. Thanks for asking. Thank you for letting us know, dude. Thank you for letting us know. And thank you for actually doing the work, for growing your skills, right? Like the success you will achieve in your life is going to be a direct vector of the work you've been doing, of the abilities you've been gaining up until this point. I think it's fun creating my own filters, like putting foil tape over the lens and lots of white paper for reflective light. You can do so much. It really is fun having like proper lenses, just having some glass in front of your sensors. Hugs for the fruit fam, so much love. Yes. Okay. Wild. I was thinking about you and Eden yesterday, sending you all good vibes. And Isaac too. I was thinking about Isaac today as well, actually. Trippy, did you have to say that, Joy? Wonder if I can summon him. Maybe. Maybe he'll join us any moment now. Luke is here. Sick. My favorite filter is Homer Simpson doing the sexy photo shoot. Smear a bunch of Vaseline on the lens. Please don't smear Vaseline on your lenses. Joy Vive, you're right. We can always rent camera equipment based on the requirements, but film cameras didn't go obsolete now that the digital is here. There we go. This is true. Another day, another dollar, just working. Corey say, yeah, got screwed a bit at work with my schedule, but it's back to normal, so I should be around a bit more. And my phone broke, so no connectivity to Wi-Fi, so using my old phone for Wi-Fi stuff. I'm sorry to hear this, Corey. It seems like technology breaking seems to be a theme right now. Apparently retrograding and Mercury's on, and Mercury's Star Wars. I don't know if I believe in stuff like this, But I've had so many vectors of information make it clear to me that when Mercury is in retrograde, shit starts getting all whack. There's a helicopter flying over us right now as well. So I'm sorry, Corey. I'm sorry that your things are breaking. I see them being fixed, working again, surely. Hopefully, we've all figured out how to make our technology last a little bit longer as we continue into the future. Luckily, I work from home. Yeah, it is great, isn't it, Timothy? It's something we take for granted, but it is something very blessed. Timothy is like, I don't take it for granted, bro. I mean, I think it's very easy to forget how grateful we should be, how much we have to be grateful for, right? Again, with this air of acceptance, it's easy for us to accept in the same breath our own negative stories, right? To be like, oh, woe is me, my technology is breaking. But the fact that you had technology to break in the first place means that you were blessed, and you will be more so going forward. Love the things that are, appreciate when things are better. We can feel it. Exactly. Contrast, right, Luke? Contrast. So much love to all of you. Leave it to Jobot to spot the hearts. Isaac as well. Got to do more of our D&D campaign and had a good time as always. Thank you for letting us know that Isaac is doing well as well. I've been feeling Isaac kind of like getting into his masculine, the part of him that's trying to problem solve, the part of him that's being responsible. I'm very interested in your video talk, Naren. That has a lot of video talk related. It's being my music, got all excited. Please. This whole point of the stream is about acceptance today, Naren. That includes accepting what you want to share with us. We're here for it. Feel free to share whatever you need to. Planned obsolescence or unplanned, in my case. I was just talking about planned obsolescence, actually, Corey. Like a few moments ago before you came into stream. Today's stream is partially inspired by my computer breaking as well. I miss Rambler. Rambler is still here. Rambler is still here. Rambler just lurks, I think, more than anything. Rambler commented on one of my flowers yesterday, 5 a.m. So he's still very much here with us. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Electronic companies want our stuff to break, plain and simple. They don't want us to fix anything ourselves. Consumerism. I want to be able to control nanobots with my brain so that I can fix my own computers. Melt, that's insane. Don't. I'm serious. Like if you have the ability to control nanobots, you can literally fix anything. Anything, including your own body. Something breaks, nanobot that shit. Reassemble things, on a molecular level. Things break. To make room for growth, I learned not to step on a phone that's propped on a child's toy, for example. I learned not to. I'm just imagining how that happened. Planned obsolescence. Or unplanned in my case. Don't get me started, Corey. It's my hot button issue. Mine too, Doug. It's like the one thing. Like I really love the age we live in. I actually do. I believe we live in a really good age. Prayers for Terpillus. Thanks for keeping him with us, Shan. Terpillus. I'm seeing an elk. Or is it an elk? Might be type of reindeer. Has like those type of horns. And then around those horns and around its head, it was like seeing it from the back. I was like looking at this elk, looking at something. And I could see only from this part of the neck. I'm ashing in my water like an absolute savage. I don't think you can see that. Ha! It tastes like water. Love you. So around these horns of this deer was just auras, colors emanating. Makes me think of Frida's the wounded elk, the wounded deer, the wounded deer. Clint in the metaphysical is perfectly whole, but Clint in the physical might be in relation a wounded deer right now. Sending him blessings. He will be here again soon. We started, it's not an issue. Yeah, the plan obsolescence. So as I was going into that fractal, I really do believe we live in one of the best ages possible when it comes to our technology, when it comes to our access, when it comes to our ability to change our own lives radically, you know, with this technology, with our access. But the planned obsolescence thing is the one thing that kind of like irks me as well. Because it's like, dude, we have these amazing tools, but if these amazing tools break, that makes them less amazing in my mind. Kristen is here too, saying I'm in the airport, but had to say hi. Thank you for taking a moment, Kristen. We love you. We'll see you again soon. Fly safe. Are you flying somewhere? I'm assuming. Maybe you're picking someone up. Corey, I want to, but I don't use a computer really, so my phone is everything. Google Pixel 5a, not great, but good enough. I mean, that still sounds like a pretty recent phone to me. Anything, I mean, this phone I'm using to stream right now is going on its 3rd year. And the phone that we basically were doing all of our RPAN streams with, that is going on its 5th or 6th year right now. And they still cell phone, right? I have to wirelessly charge the other one because its port is broken. But they still cell phone. And this one as well. This one after 2 years, like almost like on the dot, on the 2-year mark, my USB port broke. And I was like, and I had to accept. And then I had to take it into a service center, and they quoted me like $100 to fix the port. And I was like, why? That port doesn't cost $100. Fucking liars. And they're like, oh, but it includes labor. And it includes our rent for this place. And I was like, fine. Because I have these microphones, and not having a USB port disables me from being able to use them. And again, it was that whole trip of like seeing a piece of technology not being used for what it was made to be used for irks my creative mind, because I imagine there being millions, even hundreds of millions of creative people in the world right now that have ideas that they want to create, but that do not have access to the tools to create beautifully, right? Cameras, microphones, lights, etc., etc. And if all of the unused equipment could be used by them in a moment, that would be pretty cool. The library economy, right? Hey, Google, define the library economy. Man, it's a video by Andrewism, but I'm not finding a definition directly. Basically, it proposes a system where instead of buying, using, and then throwing away, we buy, use, repair, return, buy, or actually maybe rent, use, repair, return, where all of the tools we need are available to us if we can show a constructive plan to actually use them. And then after using them, we can return them to this library. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be, you know, difficult. We have robotics, so we can have our robots almost like serve as delivery systems. For instance, right, and I'm thinking about Naren right now. Naren is a filmmaker, video shooter, you know, music video producer, wedding photography, you know, shooter as well. All of these things, right? But he's not doing that every single hour of every single day. A lot of what Naren's probably doing as well is planning, where he's just sitting in a computer, sitting in a sketchbook, a notebook, and then writing down the shots he needs, the elements of the music that he wants to shoot, what he wants to accentuate, etc., 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 etc. And there's a lot of downtime where his camera is just like chilling, waiting, right? So if we can figure out a way where there's another Naren out there in the universe somewhere, hopefully close to him, that also, in fact, you know, shoots commercials instead of weddings, does sports photography, and you know, like same vector, maybe a different vector, and then being able to get that piece of equipment to them for the time period they actually want to use it for, and have it returned. Right. And in this case, hopefully Naren wouldn't actually have to front the money, as he hasn't, right, for this computer. Technically, this technology, it's a computer with a sensor attached to it, practically, and then gets to, you know, return it when it's not in use. That way, we can kind of have systems where our technology improves, and instead of having to throw these things away, kind of like building obsolescence into them so that people would buy them more, we have pieces of technology that last for decades. And instead of having to throw them away, we just differentiate distribution thereof, right? Where there's like a trickle down effect where the most marginalized, the people that have less access to most things, right, especially means to create more abundance, get access to tools that they usually wouldn't be able to afford to, because those who can afford to now have better tools replacing the tools they used to use. And I know that sounds complicated and very hard, but really, we already have all of the tools we need to actually do that. Right? These devices, an artificial intelligence system to actually consider all of the information, and then delivery systems. There we can still kind of progress a little bit, but that's also going to be rapidly changing. Going, be safe. Love you, Kristen. The Pixel are a good one. I mean Pixel and data. I mean Google and data, but the very phone, but every phone basically. Pretty much at this point, you can buy a relatively decent smartphone for between 100 and 200 bucks. And I'm saying relatively decent from the perspective of when it comes to the average consumer, it's going to do most of what it needs to do. Peppy, what are you doing? Peppy, what are you doing? That's Yudi. What are you tripping out about? What are you tripping out about? I don't understand, Peppy. Maybe it's chill. So yeah, we aren't that far away from change. Maybe that's the thing we have to accept, right? Talking about acceptance today, talking about it being the way that it is, right? Us noticing that there is this consumerism culture, there is this built-in obsolescence, there is this consume and then throw away culture. Accepting it, being like, yeah, not accepting it like taking it as our personal life philosophy, but being like, yeah, this is how it is, right? My cell phone broke, and now I'm gonna buy a new one because my cell phone broke, right? Accepting it in that way, not making a fuss out of it. But then at the same time, from that acceptance, creating meaningful change, right? Starting to think for ourselves and be like, huh, maybe there's a better way, right? It's okay to admit we were wrong. Yeah, maybe building things so that they break, so that people can buy more things that break, so they can buy more things. Maybe that isn't clever. Maybe if we're gonna call ourselves an intelligent species, we don't do stupid shit. I'm sorry for my profanity. Okay, let's continue reading comments. What about a tablet dock? A Joy-V computers require sitting down or being stationary. Mine phone doesn't. That's true. Tablets can also be cumbersome. A cell phone, I mean, the cell phone is going to keep getting smaller, right? Like it got bigger for screen real estate, but then it's probably going to become wearable and then eventually implantable, right? Like this cell phone of yours is already an extension of you. We've already accepted these devices into our lives, right? You know, it's like on your body. It's just like outside of your skin at this point. If you want to travel, and you don't take your cell phone with you. If you want to travel to a country you don't speak the language and you don't take your cell phone with you, you might just be crazy at this point in our reality, right? That's how accepted this technology is in our lives right now. It's like a part of us. And now the next step is just making it a part of us. It's going to be ethically sticky. It's going to be confusing. It's going to be trippy when it comes to what we think is supposed to be normal. What is natural, right? It's not natural to put a paste on a small little stick with a brush and then scrub that paste stick brush against your little face stones so that they don't decay as fast, right? That's not normal. That's not a normal thing that creatures do in the world. Right? Just to make it like as simple as your toothbrush. So yeah, we've long transcended what normal is supposed to be. And now it's just going to be about what we believe is acceptable, right? It is acceptable in our society to have good oral hygiene, right? And it's acceptable in our society to know how to use these cell phones. It's acceptable because it enables us, from a tool perspective, to do more. We can translate live. Like when I went to China, for example, I had Google Translate on my cell phone and it had a camera feature. And when I went to a restaurant, I could point at the Chinese text and I could see what they said, right? Like I take a little slice of reality and then I put it in between me and a language I cannot read. And then suddenly comprehension arises from that experience. These tools accentuate our abilities. But at this point, it's more of a distraction than anything. It's a distraction to most. And it's not wrong that it's a distraction. I just feel we need to learn how to have more balance. A little bit more balance would not be a bad thing. My autocorrect always changes my name spelling. Tristan, thank you. It's okay. I am so used to it. You are loved nonetheless, and I know you know that. You are being acknowledged even if the name is spelled incorrectly. Corey, if I had the money, I would buy a Microsoft Surface. I love it. But for now, the phone works. Exactly. I have an iPhone 8 still from 2018. It's a shame how quickly we move on to the newest thing. Yep, and it's also kind of brain damaged us as a society when it comes to the way we see our romantic partners as well. Where with the rise of things like Tinder, this ability to just literally face after face after face. Like imagine if you went out into the world to find a romantic partner and all of you came together in a space and your approach to this was just like pushing people away, right? This like separate that, yeah, push this person away. This person maybe can, come and sit with me. Now push this person away. Push this person away. It's this use and throw away mentality, right? And I feel if we get too obsessed, if we accept, right, that state of mind to the point where it becomes our state of mind for everything, I don't know if that is somewhere we want to be. But again, in today's theme, maybe if we accept it, it will be temporary. It will be temporary. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. How are you manifesting today? Lovingly. Lovingly. Acceptingly. Yes. I'm feeling good, Cable. How about you, dude? How are you feeling? It's a shame. Quickly, the phone processor is the down point. I can't keep up with my ADHD clicking. That is like a big thing for me. If I have to wait for my device to catch up with my state of mind, with like the speed I can process at, that irks me because it feels like one of us are lagging. Like I need to keep up. Need to keep up, dude. But I hear that, Doc. My phone is basically everything for me as well. Although the laptop is for gaming and me time. Eventually, hopefully, we can get some PCs for Peach and Fruit Cup, so we can have family game night. That sounds so sick. Game time, me time. Gonna slay some heretics and build some factories on an alien planet. Do you play a Factorio or Satisfactory? Satisfactory was quite a vibe. I didn't get too deep into it, and now with my PC broken, not at all. But before it broke, I wasn't playing games for a few months at that point as well. So maybe everything is still in fractal. My mind painted the image of your ID saying Kristen Duck. I learned to forget. Y'all started with other names. It's true. You're playing the Cult of the Lamb too. There we go, another one. Damn, yes, Melt, you're bang on it. Good thought. I do lend the camera or the lens, and then I need a favor for them to ask them. Communal growth, perhaps. Exactly. And then, of course, you have insurance, right? You have insurance. Insurance isn't a bad thing. It can create negligence as well, right? But I do believe that people are smart. I do believe that people are smart. I just think we haven't been treated as such, right? If you treat people as stupid, I think they're more likely to be stupid. So maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should actually be like, hey, here are the facts. Here is the information. Here is how things work right now. Right? These are the nodes of information you need to be considering. Right now, it's the sunless citadel. We're going through the tales from the yawning portal and filling it with the gaps of Isaac's creativity. That sounds amazing. Currently, my camera is facing a wall. You see me seeing into freaking Naren's world. Michael is an angelic name. Did I miss something? Michael. Michael is a literal angel's name, indeed, actually. Joe, send me the link to the game you were talking about. Duckling birthday is coming. Cult of the Lamb would be quite an interesting thing, giving Duckling Cult of the Lamb. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's acceptable. But it might be a whole vibe. The music is amazing. The Nokia Morph is a really cool concept. Basically, there's an earpiece and a wristband that you can use as a phone, or it expands to a tablet. Nanobots and stuff like that. Amazing concept. Yeah, we're getting there. It's literally just a matter of time at this point. Uber for electronics. I would like an Uber for singing bowls. Yes! Like that, Zano. Exactly. Like buying myself a $300, small little crystal bowl. That's like a little bit much for me, right? As an investment to make. But if someone isn't using their crystal bowls right now, it's just standing on a thing for them. If it can be delivered to me, I can crystal bowl it up and then put it back in the little carrying robot, That sounds sick. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for like planting that little fractal. Gotcha, Dakaru. Love is true. Where did you go in China? I went back in 2011. I went to Huai'an. That was the first one. Then I went to Shanghai. Then I went to Yangzhou. And then I went back to Shanghai for the last day. And then I flew into Hong Kong and then to like a small neighboring island. And then from that neighboring island, I came back home. Yeah. It was an experience. It was an experience. I wouldn't undo it, but I'm not doing it again. That's the way I articulate to make it short. Joe, whitest name ever. No originality. So mean. Joe sent me link. Poor dog is cowering outside. They're doing construction out, and it's shaking the whole house. Gave her a calming treat with some CBD, and but she no likey to shake. I can imagine. Being scared is not fun for most beings. I want a singing bowl so bad, but it's so expensive. I want to give the group a sound bath. I mean, Zano, right? It might not be something impossible. Maybe spending that extra little bit of cash, getting yourself a sound bowl. might not be a bad investment. Like getting those tones, those frequencies in your house, might be a good thing for your mental health long term. Tim, Melt's China story is fucking wild. In for a trip. You want me to tell a little bit more about it? Such an eye-opening experience. Different for sure. Yeah, the culture shock you get going there. To give you the speed run of my experience in China, I fell in love with a girl. The girl told me she was going to China. She went to China. I continued working in my country in South Africa for like 4 months. The structure of my company changed. I complained to her. She told me she could get me a job in China. I was like, yeah, sure. Then she tripped out thinking I only want to come to China to be with her. Then I decided I'm not going to China anymore because of that dynamic. Then she got a hand of me again, told me her boss needs an employee urgently. Went. She raved about me so much that he assumed we were in a relationship. So he booked me into her apartment when I got into China. And I had to sleep in her bed. And things were expected. And I, at that point in my life, was very willing to agree, I guess, in so many ways. I mean, I found myself literally in China to be an English teacher, right? Obviously, there's some sort of agreement issue happening. Realized very quickly that that wasn't going to be a healthy relationship because I wasn't allowed to speak to anyone other than her, right? If there was a group conversation and I was giving my attention to any other female, I had to hear about it afterwards. Be like, and I was like, no. I do not have myself policed. I'm sorry. Got moved out of that apartment into another apartment with another one of the person I was working for's employees. This woman used to smoke in the house. And she had the room that had a balcony. So she had a place where she can go outside and smoke, but she would smoke inside. And on my birthday, while I was eating mango cream and vanilla sponge cake with a spork, and she came inside and started smoking, I was like, at that point, like, there was a snapping point where I was like, please, please, can you smoke outside? Like, China and the air quality is already bad enough outside of my apartment. I don't want there to be actual smoke inside my apartment on top of that. Hey, Joshua, sending you love. Then that created like a toxic dynamic between me and her, where me telling her to stop smoking prompted her to try and take from me the mattress cover, or at least the lack of mattress cover that she gave me. In other words, there was no mattress. You slept on planks, but there was like a cover that she gave me, like a sponge cover that like made it a little bit more bearable. And me asking her to stop smoking was an affront to her pride, disrespectful, I don't know what. So she took this thing from underneath me. I was laying on my bed, and then she came inside and then started pulling it from underneath me. And I was like, what the fuck's happening? I like to listen to music while I'm showering, and I like to listen to psychedelic trance as my music of choice because it allows me a certain state of transitory mind space without the interruption of lyrics. And in her worldview, whatever my music is was apparently not good or satanic, was some of her words. And listening to music like around 8 a.m. in the mornings while she was still sleeping, she would like bang on the door telling me to turn the music down while I was showering. And I would just pretend to not hear her. And it spiraled out of control. And one night she like bolt locked the door. I couldn't get inside the apartment. I called my employer to help me figure it out, but I was like banging on the door like a crazy person, like shaking the building, banging on the door, making sure she hears me. She eventually opens the door, asks me if I'm stupid for knocking on the door like that. I ask her if she's stupid for bolt locking the door. So this is how the door works. It has a flip switch that puts a rod in. Then it has a key switch that puts two rods in. And then it has another other key switch that puts another rod in the door, right? She locked all of them. But this one doesn't have a port on the outside. It can only be unlocked from the inside. And she locked that one as well, knowing I'm outside of the apartment. And this is like after all of the bullshit of the toxic roommate situationship. And I'm like knocking the door down, and I ask her if she's stupid for her bolt locking the door from the inside, so I can't get inside even with my key. And then she starts assaulting me for asking her if she's stupid. And I hold her at a distance. I'm like, this is not something you can do. Please, you cannot do this. Please, you cannot do this. I am significantly more dangerous than you. And there's no scenario in which I win, right? If I defend myself, I lose. If I stay there, she's gonna continue beating on me, so I lose. And I basically have to get out of the apartment, go get booked into my boss's apartment. I have to sleep there for like a month, eventually get that apartment back because that chick moved out. I get a new bed. I get her bed, technically, right? Which is actually a bed, not a plank that I get to sleep on. And it was like a lifesaver. It felt like a dream come true. And then I went into this process of making other friends, realizing that they're earning $500 more than me a month. And the friends that I made were Russian. And their English was very Russian, to say the least, right? So I felt from a perspective of what it is I'm offering, right? Teaching English, me having the ability to speak English in the way that I do. I feel like I'm butchering myself right now as I'm making this point. I was worthy of the same, compensation that my Russian friends were. And I went to my employer to talk about that. He didn't like the fact that I had demands and told me that I couldn't make any until I was working there for a whole year. I was like, no. Found myself a new job in Shanghai that paid practically twice as much. No, like twice as much on top of how much I was getting paid, basically. Right? Like a significant increase. More close to the price, to the salary I was supposed to be earning. Go there. The person I was working for was super shady, had no actual ability for the proper paperwork that I had to follow. Didn't know that I had to follow proper paperwork. Like I had to basically tell the police that I was in a new city. Didn't know any of this. Got in Shanghai, worked there. Then the pandemic hit, literally a month after I got to Shanghai. Less than a month, maybe like 17 days after I got to Shanghai, the pandemic hit. Was in complete lockdown. My visa expired in April. In the midst of lockdown, during this whole thing, they basically let everybody know that there was a 2-month automatic extension on all of our visas, that we don't have to worry about coming into the consulate to actually confirm. Then my shady employer sent me to Yangzhou to another shady friend of hers that could potentially help me get the paperwork I needed to actually remain in the country legally. And then I was working there. I did actually go and report my presence. Oh, there's like more having the police show at my apartment while I was in Shanghai because I didn't, proclaim my being of in Shanghai. I had to have like all of that stuff. So much trips. Then going to Yangzhou, actually knowing this now, going straight to the police station, being like, I'm here, know where I am. And then I go back to teaching the next day at the school that was employing me, that was gonna help me with my paperwork. And then they arrest me. They bring cameras, they have these little box cameras that they're like pointing as they're walking into the classroom, showing me teaching, showing the kids, showing me teaching again. And then they ask me for my passport, they ask me for the contract that I signed in order to be working there. They take me to it was essentially jail. I don't know if it's, I think jail is the right word, not prison, jail, right? Where they get me to take my shoes off, undo my shoelaces, they take my passport, they take my cell phone. And your cell phone in China is your wallet, right? Like, I don't have a wallet. I don't carry a wallet. All of my money, the stuff I used to eat, right, is on my cell phone. They take my cell phone, they take my wallet, they take my shoes, my shoelaces, and then they interrogate me, asking me why I'm teaching, why I'm in that state, why I'm not teaching for the school I used to teach for, And at that point, I realize that there is a lot more going on than I actually initially anticipated, because you're not allowed to teach in China if you don't have an actual degree. And I, at that point, realized, because they told me that my degree on the system is fake. That the employer I was working for originally faked my degree, and with that fake degree got me a work visa in the country. And I was like, this is interesting news. I say to them. They let me go. They let me go, but they tell me I have to be on house arrest. Like, they keep my passport, give me my cell phone back, give me my shoelaces back, but they tell me I'm gonna have to be on house arrest until they come to a conclusion or a verdict. They have my passport. You can't use the train systems. You can't fly if you don't have a passport. So I'm on house arrest. They have a police little car station next to the apartment building. There's like a little convenience store where I bought all of my food, which primarily consisted out of these little plastic wrapped tubes of meat and noodles. And also candy, and also chips, and also little cookies, and so many sugary drinks. That was like what I sustained myself with. And I stayed in my apartment and I played Witcher 3 for 100 hours in a single month. And I loved it. It was a beautiful escape from my reality. I had to accept what was happening. After a month, they let me sit there for a month. After a month, they come to the verdict that I'm gonna have to pay a 24,000 RMB fine, which is like $3,500 about, for me to get my passport back and for me to pay my dues for getting caught teaching without a valid visa, because my visa expired 2 months ago, because there was an automatic extension, and I couldn't get out of the country because I no longer had a valid visa. So I went back to Shanghai. Then went through the whole process of trying to get a temporary visa so I can actually leave the country. I go through and I have to go during the weekends because they're still making me work, obviously, because I have to work for the apartment I live in. And every weekend that I actually have off to go to the embassy, I don't have all of the documents. And then after the third weekend, I realized that the only place I can get the documents is to go back to the initial state that my work visa was issued in. So I go back there on the train system. I get my visa done by the same person who arrested me. The exact same dude who arrested me is the one who gives me a temporary visa so that I can get out of the country. I pay like a $2,000 flight ticket on a repatriate flight, and then I get to leave China. There's like a lot more shenanigans that happened as well. There was like a dude who believed he was manager, who there were many fights with. At some point, actual assault almost occurred because he would take my crayons. I know that sounds petty, but I'm fucking teaching kids, yo. My job is to teach kids. And there were literally only 2 classrooms. And then there was like a place that we would store all of some of the creative kind of like elements, like paper and, let me just move some of these things out of the way. Paper and crayons and, pencils and stuff. And there was like this process of every single time the kids were done with basically their legwork, repeating words, going through the lesson, I would give them access to drawing equipment and paper. And it always is embarrassing because at that point I was doing like demo classes. So I have to teach kids that have never never been taught English in their lives. And then the parents sit in on the class with me, watching, intently watching me try and teach their kids. And then after these classes would finish, I would take out the crayons and give them pieces of paper and then have them practice letters and stuff, right? And on that day, while I was doing a demo, trying to get more clients for the school, my crayons aren't there. Now I have to leave the class as a teacher. I have to go and look for the crayons. And this dude, who believed himself to be manager, and he wasn't actually manager. He was promised the manager position so that he can leave his school and come and work there because of that shitty employer I had. But he wasn't manager. He would take my crayons from my freaking classrooms and go and put them in the office. And I lost it. I was like, dude, you need to stop. Oh, you need to stop. I'm gonna hurt you. Oh, I'm gonna hurt you. Don't make me hurt you, friend. Please stop taking my crayons. And I got out of there. I got out of there. That's one hell of a story. And I didn't even share all of it. There's a lot more. There's a lot more stupidity, like fights with other co-workers as well. Corey. Another dude called Corey. How about that, actually? But he used to be, I think probably still is, a drug addict, unfortunately. So his primary concern when he met me is, oh, you look like someone who does drugs. You should know where to find drugs. I'm like, no. I decided, since this is China, I will not be doing any drugs. And he's like, no, that's not how it's gonna work for me. Hey, let's hear it. Skabow. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. There's, oh goodness, the whole Victoria thing. This manager dude, he was in love with Victoria, one of the co-workers. Oh, this is making me cringe. I don't know if I should share this part of the story, but since we're open and accepting, we're gonna. And Victoria, she was an alt Chinese girl. As in, her head was shaved, she had big hoops in her ears. About 40% of her body was covered in tattoos. She was a beautiful person, still is a beautiful person. And this dude who believed he was a manager was in love with her. And all of us had to live in the same apartment. Me, Corey. I've forgotten his name. I think Aaron? I think I've forgotten his name. Maybe it's the way it's supposed to be. Victoria and Casey, a gay Chinese friend of mine. I love him so much. He was in his weight loss journey while I was there, and I watched him transform. And seeing his photos now makes me so happy. We lived in the same apartment, but there was only 3 bedrooms. So one of us had to sleep with someone else in a room. And the way that it was set up, this dude who was in love with Victoria, and they used to date before he got her to be a teacher's assistant at the school I was working for. He had her sleep in his room with him. And he was being weird. He kept trying to hook up with her. And she was like, I can't be in a room with that person. So, and she asked Casey. Casey was like, no. And I was like, bro, are you making me do this? Did. Let her sleep in my bed. Nothing, I mean, we cuddled, but nothing sexual ever happened. But there was this morning where he realized she was no longer sleeping in his room with him. And he opened my door and he saw us just like laying next to each other, cuddling. And watching this dude's facial expression, watching him lose his mind was worth it. because that situation, the whole Victoria situation, happened after the crayon situation. Oh, the amount of pettiness. Oh, that China traumatized me in so many freaking ways. Thank you, Dan, for letting me share some of it. I accept. I accept that was part of my life. I accept. Poor Popper. Love is true. I want to get a singing bowl for Peach. You can't figure out which one. She brought me a Tibetan singing bowl that Fruit Cup loves. Yes. Get a crystal bowl for Peach. Get a pink one. Get some, I don't know why, but that's what came to my mind. I know, right, Zano? Someday a group sound bath would be so amazing. Yes. Satisfactory. There we go. By the way, Mel, you've gotten so dang good on the kalimba. I was lost in the melody in our last sangha. Thank you, Zano. That brings warmth to my heart. I was actually thinking about bringing the kalimba into stream today. Maybe we'll still do that. I mean, why not, right? Yes, my heart was so happy to hear the kalimba. China was an eye-opening experience for you too. It's different for sure. Thank you. I don't know if you were here for it, Timothy. I might have just told all of our friends who have heard this story a bunch of times about it again. It's fine even if it's... Thank you, friends, for being so accepting. Not a Cult of the Lamb for Duckling, but board games. I do suggest a soundtrack, though. Good stuff. There we go. Yes. Time to go. Wonderful friends. Love you, Corey. We'll see you soon. It was so nice to spend some time with you, Corey. So much love. Joe Schmo, love to you again. That's one hell of a story, Melty. Yeah, the story gets more stressful every time I tell it. There's more details, and then they aren't good. Like Joy Vive, talking about the China experience straight up is like, you know, I unironically experience a certain amount of post-traumatic stress. Yes, and I do admit some of the details because it's like literally they're being hidden from me as I'm telling the story, and I reflect where I am at that point in the story. I realize that there are things that I was grateful for not experiencing anymore that I had experienced, and then I remember some of the other fucked up shit that was happening. Kalima today, yes please, yeah let's do it. Oh, I'm a beautiful person. Yes you are, Goo. Yes you are. Story gets more stressful. Okay, I think we're at the bottom of the comments. Maybe we'll play some kalimba. It like rained 5 drops and then it stopped. Actually got a little bit cold with this wet wind rushing by as well. How about some drum instead? No, the kalimba for today, Joy Vive. I appreciate it, but the thing is, I was like unironically thinking about bringing the kalimba into stream because I have it just on this table. The drum is all the way in my room. It's gonna be like a few seconds for me to get the kalimba. And I was like, nah, people don't want to hear you play kalimba, loser. And then Zano and Shan was like, yo, kalimba. And I was like, synchronicities? Yeah, more synchronicities. We'll play some kalimba as a opening up to the card pool, and then we'll say goodbye. Here it is. Let's see if we can get a scene. Okay. Thank you for being so accepting, Joy Vive. Can we do like a woo, woo, acceptance? Acceptance reached. Wait a second. Let's tune into like a little bit of a psychedelic frequency. Smoke some weed. Get a scene. Yeah. Get all that pretty. Meld, you're good at it. Not that it's just a finger piano. I have one too, and I can't play it. I've just had some practice. You can play it too. All you need to do is play it too. I think the rule is a driver picks the music. Shotgun shuts his cake. Melty, did you ever tighten the... No, I didn't, Joshmo. I don't know how to. Like, Joy Vive actually this Sunday mentioned to me that I should schedule a call with you. Maybe you can actually direct me as we do it together. I would like that, Joshmo. Please do. Nah, Shotgun always the DJ in my neck of the woods. Actually, here too, technically, shotgun is also the one. Kalimba frequency healing waters today. Yeah, you see, you think we're gonna pull the healing waters card? Maybe if anything for the raining that's been happening. I'm not gonna get myself a blanket because yassi. It's actually kind of cold right now. Eva, come. Eva is laying on a blanket. Come, we're gonna use it. She's unironically gonna follow me. Be like, we're gonna use that blanket. Show me where the blanket is. I don't know if this scene is gonna be properly framed. It's definitely not. My musical studies are advancing at an alarming rate. Well, be not alarmed, gobbledygoo. Be inspired. Be enthusiastic. Ah! Ah! Oh, I'm sorry for the screaming. There was so much dust in this blanket, and then when I started opening it, the wind that is rushing behind, like past my face, decided to deposit those dust particles inside of my eyeballs. So I'm gonna put a 4-minute and 44-second timer up here after I connect my microphone to the kalimba. It's starting to rain. There we go. Yeah, it's gonna rain. Maybe I'll do it like this. Oh, again. There might be some wind noise. Okay, 4 minutes and 44 minutes of kalimba. I don't know how much time we have left. 34 seconds. Of course. Sick of. Hello, puppy. Only you could see the scene. There's a kitty here as well. Let me get a little bit closer. I'm gonna put one of the microphones back now. Sorry for the clicks and clacks. It's probably gonna be a louder click with this one. Oh, it's not that bad actually. And then everything was okay again. You friends are eternally and truly loved. Gobbledygoo. I was seeing you lovin's up in chat, dude. I'm willing to make the time for streaming Joe Bibble Basil Bot. However, I may be producing some recording soon. I mean, just have a camera. Have like a little eye. Have like a little observer viewing into your realm as you create, as you record these things. You don't have to sit down and have conversations. You can just be yourself. You can just show a little eye into your world. And even if it's not something you think you want to do or you're scared that there's nobody you're going to watch, do it for yourself. Do it for the version of you that's to come. The version of you that will look back in the future to see a kitty. I don't want to be morbid, but that has long since gone. All right. The fact that I could 1,000 years from now, if I get to live that long, look back and remember Shelby fondly. Remember Pippi. Oh, in this moment, I get to Lovins. I get to Lovins, my doggers. Yeah. Hey, leave her alone. Leave her alone. Hey, leave her alone. Leave her alone. That was some beautiful magic rain music. You were spot on with the magic waters. Like technically it's supposed to be winter for us. Like we don't actually get rain around this time, but it's been nice. It rained all night here. Thought it was clearing up, but the clouds have regrouped. Good. Rain is good for the planet and stuffs. Celebrate, accept and celebrate the rain. It's the best way. This is my favorite. Thank you again for that, Josmo. That melted my heart while I was playing the kalimba, dude. This being your favorite. I also really appreciated Joy Vive actually thinking the kalimba sound is sweet. Part of me wants to be petty and be like, yeah, get wrecked. Get wrecked, Joy Vive. The kalimba is cool, get wrecked. But no, I love you too much. And be like, yes, I'm happy you enjoy it and stuff. Like there is actually a way to like accentuate the way it sounds that could like create those little pitter patters, falling things. Maybe we'll think about that next time. Hey God, being able to bask in your creativity is plentiful and abundance. Happy to witness it. And super excited about your musical opportunities. More to come still. I was thinking the same. The rain came in like percussion. Right on cue. You friends are making my heart so warm right now. That was so lovely, Mel. Thank you. Thank you, friends. Thank you for being here with me for it. I need more kalimba for my journaling. Oh my goodness, that was cathartic and helpful. Melt, I really want more kalimba. Maybe you can do some recordings and let them monetize if you have time. Maybe there could be a way to do that, show. I actually have uploaded like a kalimba session to the Patreon at one point, but I feel Patreon is such a, let's call it, challenging platform for the user to use. Creating a website for them, I don't know if that would be the best. Doing like little YouTube videos, maybe. All right, just sitting down and playing the kalimba a little bit. Film myself sitting on the rock. I could do that. Do you like that, Shell? Guess you would. Fine. Fine, more love. More, fine, more. More. Recording yourself is super beneficial for improvement, but gosh, I actually did with you in mind, Jovan, when I took that big dose of mushrooms a few days ago, 2 weeks ago at this point, right? Yeah. I did record my drumming session, with you telling me I should. When I pass, please someone smash my phone so the vids of playing and singing never ever see the light of day. Jovan, you know me. I'm probably going to, play them on stream or something. Be like, oh, remember her beautiful voice. Remember her beautiful playing of the musics. I remember being super sentimental about it. Tell me about it. I have lots of songs half recorded with me messing up and cursing. People really are making wills to include what should be done with their digital legacies. Yep, definitely. I feel the same about my scraps folder. I hope someone in my circle is sensible enough to just delete it. No. It's part of you. Even if it's imperfect, I will accept it. I'll be like, yes, yes, remember, yes, please. I'll be your biggest supporter. Love you, Shell. Thank you, friend. Thank you for always encouraging me to do more. It means more than I can say. You know these author families by seeing gold and publish posthumously, Shell. Better tell your hubby your wishes. None of us are dying. That's how it is. None of us can die. I'm sorry. If you planned on dying, no. No dying for you. Yeah, meow. Only living. Okay. Deal? Deal. Yeah, how about that? We got a light. It's like literally the lights that are mounted to the roof. So I don't know if it's the best light, but it's not bad. I didn't even smoke weed before I played my kalimba. I didn't even need to. I just, I guess, accepted in that moment so completely that it was just freeing. Get my little book. And there was light. It's great. Yeah, you can see me again. I don't look like a pixelated mess. All of that noise. Big supporter. You know these authors, families. Again, love is true. You perfectly imperfect beings, making all of us lovingly accept our perfect imperfections. Yeah, because you are. All of us are perfectly imperfect. Right? That our imperfections is what makes us perfectly ourselves. Right? When you deny someone's differences, you deny who they are. That's a line from the Trolls movie. Yeah. Yeah, wisdom. I know, Shan. I know. I know. I constantly grieving my decrepitude. Joy V, fortunately, you're exposing yourself to so many beings who are ceaselessly encouraging you. It's just a matter of time. You know what I think your thing is, Joy V? Power. I feel once the tools arise that make it so easy to create stuff that it's impossible to not to, you're gonna be a creator as well. You already are, as I keep saying to you, like you're already creating right now in this moment. Thank you for always encouraging me to do more, Mel. Thank you, Shell. Like this is what we're doing, right? We're showing up so that we can keep showing up. So that we can keep showing up. We're saying thank you by showing up, and then you show up with me, and then I'm gonna like, okay, I need to say thank you again tomorrow, and show up again. Keep doing the things, friends. We're gonna see this through. If you know, love, you best prepare to grieve. Yeah, I'm constantly grieving my decrepitude. Love is true. Anyway, I love those trolls. Going a map. It's Harley Williams' lyric. Something for the team. It's a precious thing to know that we can show up as we are each day, and ourself at that moment will be embraced. Beautiful. So well use of the text, constraints you had as well on that show. Exactly. Ooh, here comes a big one. Woo! Yo! Okay. Yeah, embrace, accept. Be like, yeah, yeah. Oh shit, here comes it. I think that's something we're saying, Shell. It is. I'll say it again. It's a precious thing to know that you, all of us, we can show up each day and ourselves at that moment will be embraced. You will be embraced, dear friend. You will be accepted as you are. We will encourage you to grow, but that doesn't take away from our acceptance of you as you are, right? It can be a little bit of a juxtaposition. That's why we remind ourselves and each other that love is true. That this thing you're experiencing right now, whatever it is, whatever your internal narrative is, measure it against love is true. Is love true in this narrative? If it's not, maybe it's not accurate. But you can assume. You can live into the assumed reality that you will be loved in this space. That's powerful. Yeah, there's the power. Yeah, how about that, huh? And with that in mind, that lightening, let's see. Having tuned ourselves in, allowed ourselves more openness, feeling connection. We'll see which card needs to be pulled. Hey, Yama. This one. Yeah. Zano. Yeah, green. The green Taurus, in fact. That smack dab on it. And there's definitely a rainbow as well. Look on red, look on purples, look on yellows and oranges. Yeah. The green Taurus. This is a sick card. Healing waters, indeed. I think I missed that one. I learned that from the plants. Lightning is good for plants. Yes, they like the electricity. Melty, I woke up feeling off balance. And then you gifted us with 44 minutes of music that you created. And it was exactly what was needed to snap my thoughts back to center. Thank you, friend. Thank you. Right? And I imagine myself like accepting Joy Vive's request to have the drum played instead of the kalimba. And then you hearing me playing the djembe and being like, that thing is still out of tune, dude. And it like bringing you even more off center. And me choosing to commit to the kalimba, giving you that moment. Thank you, Brother Bear, for sharing that. Sending you even more love. This. I wrote the whole time. I love you so much. We love you, Shell. We love you. We love you so much as well. I would have lost it if it was Healing Waters. I would have lost it as well. But I feel, we get to share the synchronicity with Zano in this moment. 7 times 7, the green Taurus. Yeah. More synchronicity, super green. Yeah, that's like, I feel like usually, even if your friends like hit it perfectly, like it maybe like be the brim, but this card is like all about that green. The green Taurus, card number 49. Get them horns. Card number 49. Yeah. Get them sounds. Oh my goodness! The core meaning. The core meaning, acceptance and trust. Yeah. The synchronicity. Okay, I'm gonna keep tripping out about it. Let's just put the trip down. We did pull it reversed, and it goes, how can you ask for trust of others if you do not believe in yourself? It's a little bit in my face, Green Taurus. Relax, oh. Woo! How can you ask for the trust of others if you do not believe in yourself? Acceptance and trust. The Green Taurus, snuggled comfortably within a nest of flowers. I'm like, my brain is melting right now. The Green Taurus, snuggled comfortably within a nest of flowers, is both dynamic and passive. Its revolving magnetic spirit invites you to move into the green, shadowy center and trust where you may be led. It is the nature of the Taurus to move energy, and the energy moving here is that of acceptance and trust. Calmly allow your attention to follow the swirling arms towards the mysterious center. Recognize that you are moving through a passageway that may offer insight into the matter of your inquiry. Agree to be open to the message that you may receive and trust that you are guided from within and beyond. Use this energy of potential as a means of accessing your most pure personal truth. Accept that this could be challenging, since many of us do not trust ourselves enough to recognize authentic truth when we are in its presence. Try to stay in this energy until you feel self-acceptance and sense a message that you can trust. Sit with this knowing and have faith in what you find at your core. Gently follow the arms of the Taurus back into your reality, knowing you may better trust and accept yourself. As you learn to trust and accept yourself, you will find it easier to be tolerant and trusting of others. Hot damn. Was yesterday's poem the poem I used the word core in? Yes. No? Yes? No? No. No. Day before that. No? Day before that? Day before that? Man, these poems are all like melted together in my brain at this point. No way. No way. Let me try this again. Actually read maybe. Yeah, there we go. It is. It's yesterday's poem. We talked about the whole, clothing thing. So that's the way the flower turned out. That's my clothing of yesterday. And they're talking about the truth at our core, right? Sit with this knowing and have faith in what you find at your core. The clothes we wear, it's my clothing up there. Oh, how much we care. We worry when people stare. So easily lost in who, what, why, and when. We lose track of ourselves by attaching. Stuck in believing you can only be loved if you look a certain way. Frozen in place, we stare into the face of decay, glued to the choices we've made. Melt, let your body serve as more, not your core, but something that adorns. Wear it well, love it true. It has always been here with you. Acceptance of yourself. Oh, goodness. These streams, they feel eerily magical to me, right? I would like to believe that we're doing something normal, that we're just some friends sitting down having conversations. But the amount of significance, the amount of synchronicity, the amount of serendipity, right? Where we're also at the same time experiencing similar fractals. The fact that you have been experiencing rain, Joy V, and now I get to, relate to that fact because you chose to share it. Sure, it's just a conversation, but we're literally thousands of miles away from one another right now. We're thousands, tens of thousands of, 10,000 of miles away from one another right now. And yet still, right, synchronicity, serendipity. Let me see. I think I missed a few. Big Brother's always watching Big Truth. Yeah. The universe, aka Big Brother, apparently. Yeah. The universe is like all up in our face these days, trying to keep us alert. You need to be paying attention. You need to be paying close attention. Nothing needs to be missing you. Be vigilant, dear friends. Align with love. This just gave me red hot Pierre, red hot poker of a writing prompt. Yeah. Create more. use the acceptance, use the trust. My core is gooey and warm and cannot be touched lest I die. No. Your core cannot be touched. All right? I can touch your body. I'm sorry. I have to, may a third time apologize. Oh, that piece of lightning. I can put my hand inside of your chest and grip your heart, but I won't touch your core. That's not your core. Your core exists beyond this realm, right? You can close your eyes, and that beingness, that version of beingness remains. That beingness is displaying to me a person standing justly, proudly, on top of a mountain peak. Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Eerily magic. I feel so swoonfully magic. Acceptance of self is one of the hardest topics. It's very hard to realize that what I constantly ask of others is not fully realized within myself. Bandwidth, right? It's a bandwidth thing. It's like the only person who can give you the full bandwidth of the self-trust, of the trust you need is you. The love you need is you. Right? Because I can, in this moment, go like, hey, dear friend, look at me. Yeah, in your room right now. I'm looking around and I'm looking at you. I love you. Do you know that? You matter. You will make a difference. You have already made a difference and you will continue to make a good difference in this world. That's a comment that came from love to you in this moment, right? And there's a certain, you can theoretically try and break down my facial expressions, the way I move, the exact words I used, the lead up to it, the way you feel right now, how much information was absorbed, how much bandwidth there was, right? Quantifiably, finitely. But the love you can share with yourself is infinite in nature, right? Because you ceaselessly do it. I can take this breath lovingly, knowing that it's going to let me continue to live. Right? I can eat food lovingly, knowing it's going to continue to help me to live. I can take care of my body lovingly, knowing it's going to, right? That is the bandwidth. That is the self-acceptance. That is the trust you have to kind of like learn to have of yourself. And it's hard. As you said, it's the hardest thing. I honestly believe this, Zano. The hardest work you are going to do in your lifetime is the work you have to do on yourself. And it's ceaseless. It's ceaseless. It does not stop. That's why it's so hard, right? And there's a part of me that resents it, is angry, is raging about that reality. And instead of letting it get me down, I realized I can take that rageful energy and use it positively, right? Use it into the direction of love. A friend of mine, we talked about psychopathy, right? Seeing psychopathy as almost a symptom of this reality in a weird way, and how he believes that there can be psychopaths for love. And he proclaims that I might, have some sort of love psychopathy. To me, it's a way of being, right? Again, I imagine romantically that my life is a love story with the feminine, right, as life, and the observer as the masculine, and that's the love story. It's like, I should ooey ooey, right? But yes, so seeing a tree, seeing this tree every day, seeing this tree, I thank Mama Gaia. I'm like, yes, you're so beautiful, so hot, so gorgeous, and it really is a little bit weird sometimes. I don't think it's sexualized, but it very much is. I think there's bugs in my hair. It is consistent. Maybe not consistent is the right word. Clear. Noticeable. Maybe noticeable. And noting something like that can be weird. I feel like I have bugs in my hair, and it's, you know what? It's pieces of Mama Gaia. Thank you. Thank you for the bugs in my hair. I accept them. I feel them still. Quit looking around my room. Hope the bandwidth is too real sometimes. Yeah, and it's hard. It's so hard. We're getting better. That's why we're showing up. Consciously evolving. Oh, I forgot. I want to start introducing the streams. Indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends, and welcome back to another conscious evolution. As I plant the seeds in my own brain. Conscious evolution. That's what we're doing here. We're consciously evolving, right? Because we have, for the longest time, evolved with circumstances, right? But you are the ultimate circumstance of yourself. You get what I'm saying? The circumstance you find yourself in usually is you. Right? So with that in mind, bigger right things. With that in mind, circumstance yourself into evolving well. And I feel like this is a circumstance we've put ourselves in right now, right? We've accepted this moment. We've trusted that there would be something of value. Chris, well, joining us too, sending your love and friend. It's nice seeing your name. I'm not here. I'm in a Taurus field. The arms. Purple sky and mountains behind you. I feel like the colors are probably getting a little bit faded. Maybe we can swap scenes, see if we can catch some lightning. Catch some lightning. There's still freaking bugs in my hair, yo. It's probably the light. Need to swap this thing around. There we go. Since we have powers together, y'all please say thanks and farewell to my well-flushed mycelium beds. They gave everything they could, and their legacy remains and provides. Thank you for a job well done, mats of mycelium. You have spent a lot of time giving everything. We shall honor you as we continue. Thank you for letting me honor a block of mycelium. I felt connected to that block of mycelium. Since we have powers together, thank you again. But they never taught me to love myself. No one tried to show me. The hardest thing to learn is something we aren't sure we've seen. Ooh. I love this world so much. I love you. You are worthy of being loved. How can we show one another how to love the self other than loving others? Right? I feel like again, that deep self-trust, that deep self-acceptance comes with a love for others. Because you have enough bandwidth. You have satiated the part of you that needs to be loved to the point where it's possible for you to go out of your way to love another. Not being taught how to love ourselves. How about that, huh, Corey? Is it Corey or Duck Dad? Duck Dad. No, Corey. Yeah. Not being taught how to love ourselves. Because it's again, it's a pride thing, right? It's a prideful, it's like if you love yourself, that's pride. And pride is a sin. Right? So it's like the love of the self is wrong on a societal level. And in a weird way, denying that love of self makes you more likely to consume whatever, right? Pretty much whatever. Makes you more likely to spend your money on consuming something. So if you want to get all conspiracy theory about it, put on your tinfoil hats and consider that maybe we've been indoctrinated. Maybe we've been conditioned into believing reality is one way, because some people benefit from that being the narrative. But there is change coming, right? Fortunately, now information is so accessible. We even have AI assistants. Like I spend a fair bit of time today just diving into questions, seeing what the data says. It's quite miraculous. Melt looks flustered. I'm just feeling the amount of love in this space right now, friend. I'm tripping out about the reality of what's happening, and I can feel the significance of it continuing. And I can watch from the perspective of us doing this for 111 years, looking back from that perspective to this version of self, loving myself from that version of self right now more as myself for what it is we're doing right now. And it is flustering me a little bit. I'm getting a little bit flustered. Love, psychopathy, hopeless romantic. How about that? I am a hopeless romantic. A breath of love, acceptance, and gratitude to the beds in which they rest. Nah, work, she got. It's intro. It's your intro, but it's birthday guesses. Thank you, Joy Vive. I like clarity. I like clarity. And I value other people enough to value them with clarity, right? Like I want to make very clear what's happening in these streams. The greeting, I try to make very clear what I think of you, right? What I think when I address you. Indeed. Hey Google, define indeed. Used to emphasize a statement or response confirming something already suggested. Right? So I start the sentence with indeed. Indeed, like emphasizing this statement, used to introduce a further and stronger, more surprising point, used in response to express interest, surprise. I'm not going to read the last one because it's not worthy here. Right? So indeed, and greetings, greeting you. Beloved, you are loved and holy, not because you are holier than thou, but because you are whole. There's nothing required of you. You are already whole as you're in this moment. Beloved and holy friend. Friend in my mind meaning someone I want to walk side by side with. Someone I want to walk side by side with. Knowing that we're going in the same direction. And then welcoming, this friend to a conscious evolution. That we're here to consciously evolve that we're going to have fun. We're going to have cool chats. We're going to sometimes be a little bit silly. But our intention ultimately is to consciously evolve. And then we can introduce the topic, what it is we're trying to consciously evolve with. Trying to consciously evolve today with self-acceptance, right? It's a hard one. Because we have so much evidence for why we shouldn't accept ourselves. I'm fasting right now. I'm on my 3rd day and I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling clear. My body hasn't been complaining. My joints have been feeling better. I've been drinking broth exclusively, which has a lot of calcium and magnesium, gelatin, some proteins, but not enough to break my fast. And it's been nice. I feel like my body is rejoicing constantly. But it started from a place of not being okay with accepting the self. There we go. Had an interruption for a moment. I was like, nope. This current state of being that I've reached is not acceptable. I have gained too much weight, and now I need to purge it. And if I didn't have that level of not accepting the self, I wouldn't have this experience right now. So I don't condone that or say that it's right, but I would like to just say that we do things to ourselves to have experiences that come along with that choice, right? The experience of being separate, the experience of being lonely comes with the experience and the thoughts and the patterns of thinking and the potential work that comes with being lonely, right? It's not true. Ultimately, it's an illusion, right? But it can facilitate a certain state of being. And then noticing, that potential, that not accepting the self, instead of it being an indicator of you or the reality that you're in, it can be seen as, again, a tool that you can take parts of yourself, right? Instead of not accepting yourself, take a part of the self which you don't accept. And then you ask yourself, can I make meaningful change in this part of myself? And if the answer is yes, you can start showing up to actually see that part that you don't want to accept, see changed. It's getting a little bit chilly. And I don't know if that's wrong, right? That's growth. But it's almost like you have accepted that you want to be a certain version of you. And with that acceptance, like, this is the way I think about it, and I articulate it beautifully to the point where I actually realized it myself at that festival, that we have no qualms with accepting a truth. We have qualms with accepting the truths that come along with that truth, right? For instance, it is what we eat affects our health, period, right? All of us know this to be a truth. All of us can accept in a moment that is the truth. But accepting with that truth all of the implications of that truth is something that's significantly harder to accept. In my case, for example, I know that I like eating healthy and it makes my body feel a certain way. And yet, that does not take my cravings away. In fact, the more I eat healthy, the longer I eat healthy for, the more my cravings increase. Because there's some sort of sunk cost fallacy happening in my ego where, I've eaten healthy for like a week. Better eat something unhealthy again. I don't know why that happens, right? I've accepted the truth that eating healthy is good for me and makes me feel better, but that doesn't change the fact that I still like eating unhealthy food. And it's like that simulacrum, that meta idea for pretty much everything. For the truth, for the truth of love, for example. Right? Like it's a hard one in a way where we have to kind of accept all of our traumas, all of our difficulties, all of our hardships as loving. But everything you've suffered in your life, You suffered because you were so loved. It's kind of comical, right? It is kind of comical. But if you weren't so loved and if you didn't remain loving, you wouldn't be here right now. So it's like that circular reasoning, trying to escape by reading a comment. On that note, Maltese, less than 2 weeks till your birthday. Do you have plans? I'm gonna have Christian over. That's pretty much the extent of the plans. Christian is coming over soon, probably Sunday. That's at least what we've discussed. So I'm not really a celebratory person of myself. I have a hard time accepting myself. As all of us probably do sometimes. Relax. So yeah, maybe one day again. Like I feel it's just again finances, right? Like I don't see myself paying a lot of money to have a party for myself. I would rather spend that money on tools that I can make things for other people with, right? It's that kind of where I place the value. So yeah, I have no plans. I'm gonna ask my mom for underwear. That's what I want. I'm not actually joking. Isn't I've no. It's weird that we're okay with toilet paper. Imagine if we go poo everywhere else on our body and also use toilet paper wipe to wipe. Yeah, that would be weird. That would be weird. I'm actually very pro Japanese toilet. I have used a few Japanese toilets in my time, and when I say a few, literally like 2 times. But yeah, it's definitely the superior option. I believe. Actually, I'm a believer. I'm a believer in the Japanese toilet. Isn't there some sort of nearly indestructible boat species? Boat and species making it the way down the states, although there's probably a murder of avid hunters who would see it as a challenge. Goat? Maybe goat? Goat species? I'm just imagining a species of boat, you know, goes on the water, but not it's just land roaming and it's eating people or something. My brain is getting melted, Corey. I just got a dog on Sunday. Say no, it's nice seeing you. From my uncle, she says, a dog is the only thing on earth that loves you more than he loves himself. I can love myself more than I see myself through my dog's world, right? It's almost like they teach you. They teach you self-love in a way. And they do love themselves. I don't think that they don't love themselves, but the way they look at you, right, is so pure. Hi, puppy. How's your voeters? How's your magic kiss? So aware, so present, right, in your world. They actually pay attention. Joe bought one day. And one of the things, so just like the fractal that's in my mind right now, one of the attachments we've made to love is that love is your focus and presence. Like if you don't know how to love someone, just give them your focus and presence. That's enough. That's enough if you don't know what to say. 3 shells. Love, love. Love, 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 love. We have a very misogynistic joke about dogs and wives that I totally don't support the idea, but it goes like, if you locked your wife in the trunk or the dog, who is going to be more happy to see you when you let them out? I don't know if that's misogynistics. I feel like that is just a trip to think about, right? It's just like it's like a mental experiment. In this mental experiment, like this is not something we would ever do, but it's weird how you can easily come to a conclusion. You're like, ah. And I feel like it's because you understand the nature of both, right? And that doesn't make you a misogynist. It just means that you're considerate. Yeah. Oh, mercy, I'm sorry. Love you, Mama Gaia. But to be fair, if you lock me in the trunk and you lock a dog in the trunk, Even though I'm very loving, I'm still gonna be fucking pissed at you as well. So I feel like it goes all the ways. I'm walking her right now. Love is true. Chihuahua mix of Jack Russell. Perfect. Anti-black racism training is the best and super unfortunate that it's relatively new thing. It breaks my brain just thinking about how that's necessary. And then I realize, oh yeah, I guess people have been indoctrinated, so steeped in their own dogmatic culture that they become attached to themselves to the point where anyone who isn't attached to the same self they're attached to cannot possibly relate to them, not realizing the thing that they're all attaching to is the same I, the I we share, right? Eyes looking out at the world, seeing, experiencing suffering the same way. I'm selectively interested, Doc. Ask me about my day. You might be bored. Ask me about aliens. You might regret it. Depends on what kind of trip I'm on. Yeah, whatever the momentum is already going. I'll send you a birthday present, Melt. I'll get you. It will get there somewhere in September, I'm sure. But it'll be worth. But it won't be underwear. Thank you. Thank you. I'll accept gifts lovingly, right? If I'm gonna go into self-acceptance and I'm not willing to accept myself, I'll lovingly accept you. Very easy peasy. That I can do. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. Sorry, I meant to text that my anxiety has gotten down so much more with the puppy. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm happier with Elsa in my life. That Shanna for the love. Love is true. Oh, boar. Yeah, there's a boar going around, not a boat. I love the idea of a boat species. Thomas the Tank Engine style going through the. Yes, exactly. That was where my mind was going as well, Corey. Anti-black racism training. Do you get the racist to all the other I like just reading that word, anti-black racism training. So I'm like guessing they're trying to train people not to be anti-black or racist, right? And I'm just my mind reading those words in a sequence. It goes, are they going to train people not to be anti-black and racist? What's happening here right now? I gotta run, but I love. But I see you, love and thanks tomorrow. I love you, Jovan. This stream has been so long. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again soon. And it's really everybody, but mostly about writing. Wanting to abolish police. The direct course is someone who has worked on the first lines of a lot of dead that just get swept under the rug. I can't even imagine, honestly, right? Like it's apparently it's there's this episode on the Midnight Gospel. I think it's episode 9 where they talk about death and they talk about the death conspiracy. The fact that we have been conditioned as a society to see a dead person as dangerous when they're not, right? All of the things that people do that can be dangerous, can be contagious, they stop doing when they die, right? The things that they died of, the bacteria in their body dies off with them. And unless they died of some sort of super infectious disease, if they died of, like breathing complications, or even if they were shot, all right, like they aren't dangerous. And there is this big part of our culture that we've lost where we used to spend time with our dead. Like it wasn't an emergency when someone officially died and we know that they were dead. If someone drowned and there's still potential to save their life, of course, don't just accept, oh yeah, they're probably dead. Actually try. But if you know that someone has died, it's not an emergency anymore. That we almost rob ourselves of the ability to actually understand true acceptance by not spending time with the ones that have passed. But fortunately, none of us gonna die. No dying. No dying. You can't die. No dying. We have to live at least until we hit like the technological genome editing curve, where we can kind of edit out our obsolescence. No dying. Stop it. Stop dying right now. Start loving yourself more. Drink a glass of water. Love yourself. It's really everybody. Thank you again for that. Oh my goodness. It's today. No, no. Today is the 2nd of May. My birthday is on the 14th. So in a few days. No, not just yet. A couple weeks, I think. 14th of May is true. Thank you, Gary Lee. There he is. I was thinking about you today, dude. As I was coming into stream, and was like, I should send Gary Lee a message. We should test out the dual stream, the join stream thing again. I don't know if they changed it, but I think they might have up until this point. We can test it. Joe, myself, and Corey in one place. Up the shenanigans would break the universe. We're already breaking the universe, Corey. It's already Dad. It's already happening, dude. The problem? Oh yes, for sure. Would love it, dude. Much love to you. Thinking about you, bro. The problem is that people in the ghetto in Toronto get swooshed it. I don't know what swooshed papaus by the police all the time because it's such a regular occurrence. It's no longer newsworthy. Swooshed it is like I'm sorry. And Connor, where's the young man? Push us, doom and destruction. Exactly. That's why I'm like, my mind is like, no, I won't accept the doom and destruction. So I'm gonna just waltz past it. Bodies and biohazards, waste. Sorry, melt. There are stages of decomp. Yeah. I know, but I'm talking about immediately, like in the immediate moment, right? It's different. Like after a week or 2 weeks, there's like decay happening. But if it's in the moment, right, you find your grandpa the next morning. There's time. Spend time with the body. Bodies are biohazardous waste. Oh goodness, you're telling me the Canadian cops are assholes too, Zano? Oh my god, I'm so stunned. It's almost like designing a role that gives people an exorbitant amount of power and authority and leeway to do atrocious things without any repercussions attracts a certain type of person. And for some reason, there's no proper eval in place to ensure that that type of person doesn't actually get the job of policing people. And then we find ourselves in this confusing situation. What are they doing right now? Are they stupid? No, they're very smart, actually. They're inconsiderate. The human beings can be so inconsiderate. You find your grandpa the next morning. You better hope he didn't die in a closed house in the Georgia summer. The heat. Okay, you know what, Joy Vive, I'm gonna put this topic right. I'm gonna take this topic and put it down, and then I'm gonna be like back away from it, and I'm gonna say goodbye for now. Love you, friends. Thank you for joining me, for spending some of your time. Thank you for allowing me to send some of my time to you. We have done it. We have streamed another day. Relax. Relax yourself. Eva is like coming closer, and Sophia's like, relax yourself. Why are you like that? Why are you like this? Why are you like this? Eva is like, you should give me attention as well. And he's like, no, you shouldn't be tries to chase Eva away. So jealous. Why are you so jealous? Why are you so jealous, Peppy? Why are you such a jealous? I'm gonna give Eva some lovins. Yeah, give her some lovins. I'm gonna give her some. I'm gonna give Eva some. I love Eva too. Eva also was deserving of love. Love is true. It's literally what I went to school for, so I'll always win. That's why I'm not arguing. I accept. I actually, I'm gonna walk the walk as well. We're talking about acceptance. I accept. Look at me accepting right now. Joey was like, he's so not accepting. I'm accepting. I'm accepting. I accept. I'm accepting. Not only are they assholes, but they don't have the same amount of standards in terms of documenting what they do. Body cams are not enforced. Oh my god. Let's. Police in Norway are trained crazy well. There we go. They have to take a 3-year program. Almost like there's a proper time dissonance between people actually signing up and getting to police people. Go through certain evaluations. There we go. Pretty sure psych evals are a big ha. It's almost like someone who might be mildly psychotic and have a power trip might not be the best person to give a gun to. You know, one cannot contain the gremlin. So good to be home with all of you once again. Corey, you said it, dude. You said it. It does feel like home, right? Thank you. Thank you for echoing that sentiment. So much love to you. Love is true. Here in the US, it does not benefit the ruling class if their enforcers have a soft heart. Have the most beautifulest day, everyone. I love you all, for real, for realsers. So super gigantically, hugely, dearly. Melton, all of you absolutely tremendously awesome friends. Yes, we love you, dear Shan. Thank you for joining us. Are the police legit in SM, Melton? No. If you order a pizza and you call the police to your house at the same time, the pizza will arrive and be cold by the time the police show up. I wish I was exaggerating. I really wish I was exaggerating, but that's like a very common joke we make in South Africa. That's the kind of police we have. Our police is basically non-existent. We have privatized police more than we have police, actually, which I think might be worse. But seems to be what has become accepted. Yeah. Let's see what time does. Police college just became free in Toronto. There we go. That's perfect. Do the current police have to go through it as well? Oh shit. Okay, friends, thank you. I don't know if there is any positivity we're going to extract by thinking about the police system, unless we're going to actually do something, right? Make some meaningful change, go and vote locally, go and speak to our representatives that happen to be in our town. I feel we can just strip ourselves out with these unacceptable things. Oh, it's unacceptable. What is happening? This is so unacceptable. Looks at each other. Can you believe how unacceptable this is? Still happening. I cannot believe this. That's where we are right now in society, right? And I this whole stream started with kind of accepting that at this point in our history, that is where we are. Inconsiderate. We're not accepting one another the way we could be, should be. But there is room to grow. We're growing. We're getting better at it. Sounds like calling the police. Shame. Important. Love you. Love is still true, even if the cops suck. It's true. Exactly. Exactly. And those people, you know, probably really love power. They probably do. Cops don't suck. Policies do. Yeah, exactly. Rules need to be enforced, and then that creates power trips for people to want to. Sorry, I'm just preparing for my course. Thank you all for talking about this fractal with me, guys. Are you doing a course on the police? When we work together, we can make a difference. There we go. Yes. That is the truth. That is the clarity that we're trying to extract from this topic. Because it's very easy to get lost in the mud of, yeah, the police fucking suck. So in the mud of that. But yes, together, as a collective, we can actually make real differences. We are making a real difference. And we will continue to. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me. This has been the longest stream in a while. I appreciate you for finding the time. I'll see you again soon. Very soon. Like 24 hours from now. Be here again.